Today we're going to look at how to turn the whole world Christian, mathematically speaking. So if we're only working with 1% of global Christians, there's 2.5 billion globally. And if we're working with 1%, which would be 25 million, how can this 25 million bring 5.8 billion to the faith? That's the question we're asking today. Method one, this is the most unlikely in my opinion, would be if 25 million Christians each reached 220 unbelievers. Now this seems very difficult. I'm going to put this in the unlikely category. Then we have method two. This is typically what you hear people talking about when they talk about reaching the world. So this would be one believer mentors three. These three each mentor three. On. And actually it would only take 5 generations for this 25 million to become 6 billion. So this is extremely fast. The con is I don't think it's actually as achievable as it sounds like on paper. What you're asking Sally here to do is to bring 3 unbelievers to the faith, build them up and equip them for the work of ministry, and then lead them to mature manhood, unity of faith, knowledge of the Son of God. So it takes a lot for a believer to grow into maturity, and the average Christian is not gifted with every gift of teaching, all sorts of wisdom, where they might just be faithful followers of God, trying their best. So in Ephesians 4, it's written that we were given apostles, prophets, evangelists, shepherds, and teachers. And these guys, their role is to equip the saints for the work of ministry, build up the body of Christ until we all attain unity of faith, etc., etc. So Sally, she's gifted with generosity and faith. She has important giftings, an important role, but she's not a shepherd. She's not a teacher. She's not a great evangelist. Her mentees, now they can learn from her, but really they're going to need a community of mature believers with a wide range of giftings for them to grow to maturity. Oops. Okay. Or they risk spreading a weak, imbalanced form of Christianity. So this is realistically how people grow in the faith. This is the person growing. This is me. You have parents teaching you, friends. You learn from how other people are walking. You learn from books. You learn from pastors, camp counselors. And then there's some immature people who try to be your mentors, or wolves who try to teach you things that are false. This is kind of how it works. And then over time, with many influences, with the whole body, the whole range of giftings, you start to grow into a balanced, deeper, more mature Christian. And so in light of that, I'm going to suggest a new method number 3, which I will call the Overflow, Christian Overflow. In this method, most of a community is mature believers. And then you add on a few new believers or lukewarm believers. And then those lukewarm believers are influenced by the overflow of the godly life, the zealous pursuit of the Lord of all these red, mature believers. And then they grow. They grow a lot quicker because they're surrounded by this tight-knit community. And then we bring some more in. And then over the years, they become more faithful, more mature. And then you bring more in slowly. The group might split into smaller groups if it becomes too large. And then you continue growing slowly, 10% a year, for example. At 24 million Christians, growing 10% per year, compounding, this would become 5.5 billion in 57 years. So not long at all if we're talking, reaching the entire world. And if it's a little faster, if a group of 10 brings in 1 to 2 a year, that would be 15% and 39 years to reach the rest of the world. Is this method achievable? Well, reaching one person for the Lord in a group of 10 a year, I think that is achievable. And then when this new convert or lukewarm Christian joins the group, they'll find themselves in a group where members are solid Christians. They'll see unity and love. They'll see men and women who know God from word and experience. They'll see various gifts being used to build and bless the body. And they'll be doing good works for the Lord together, hopefully. So they'll grow a lot faster this way and a lot deeper this way, having a community feeding into them than 1 or 2 mentors. So, Alex, you just reinvented church or small groups. This is what they're supposed to be. This is what they were meant to be all along. Yes, I'm aware this is nothing new. However, is this happening in practice? And if it is, how much is it happening? So why don't we see more thriving groups like this? Well, here's some potential problems that I've noticed. One is groups might be focused heavily on unbelievers or the lukewarm, and they end up just not being very deep. These are called seeker-sensitive groups. Their focus is on being accommodating. However, sometimes they miss the focus on depth. Instead, we should try to be deep. We should try to follow God, serve Him, and then incorporate unbelievers gradually so that they join our community and it's not them who's influencing the Christians to be like them. So instead of spreading shallow Christianity quickly at the maximum rate possible, we seek to have deep, solid Christianity. And as the pool grows deeper, we trust that it will also grow wider and more will come. So how do we do a better job at this, going deep? That's really the key question and the focus, I think, more of us need to be emphasizing. Here's another problem I'm seeing. Some people don't really believe that greater depth is possible. This gentleman, he tithes and he attends on Sunday, so check, he's covered. There's nothing more in the faith for him. There's nowhere else to go. Well, that's false. Here's John Knox saying, "Give me Scotland or I die." Very passionate Christian. So there's limitless depth in love and unity and understanding, surrendering yourself to God. Various giftings need to be used to build the body. We need good works. We need to bless the world and bless each other with good works. And victory in prayers regularly is also possible. So this is what I mean when I say depth. So now what? Well, am I missing something? This is me, referring to me. Is there a better method? I'm open to hearing other ideas, but this is what I think is the direction the church ought to be pursuing. And then secondly, okay, say you agree this is the direction. Now practically, how can we achieve these deep Christian communities? This seems to be the answer. Deep Christian communities. Let me know if you have ideas. This is a question that I will be likely pursuing moving forward and in future videos. Thanks for watching.